So now let's take a look at how hydrogen bonding causes the unique properties of water that make all of life possible. First, ice is less dense than water. At 4 degrees Celsius, ice is 10% less dense than liquid water. Why this is because the water molecules and their hydrogen bonds stabilize. Remember, in liquids, you have kinetic motion. Hydrogen bonds are breaking and reforming, breaking and reforming. But with ice, they stabilize. The water molecules push each other away. You have air spaces in the crystalline structure, as shown in Figure A. This allows for ice to float. So in aquatic lakes, aquatic ecosystems that are far enough north, when they freeze over, only the first few inches or several inches freeze. This allows for ice to form, insulating the aquatic ecosystem. Ice is also used by Arctic organisms to hunt and as a habitat. There are less ice formations due to climate change. Because of the issue with climate change, these organisms are having a harder time hunting, finding ice to use as a habitat. And so they are, or are going to be, or are close to being endangered. Ice is very important to ecosystems, Arctic ecosystems. The next property of water is how water is a universal solvent, and anything that is polar or ionic is able to dissolve in water. They are able to form attractive forces or hydrogen bonds between the polar ends of the water molecule. So if you have an ionic substance, it's going to dissociate or break apart in water, with the positive hydrogen ends surrounding the negative ion and the negative oxygen surrounding the positive ion. This allows water to dissolve anything that's polar or anything that's ionic. This is critical for biological processes within a cell, because you have water solutions outside of the cell and inside of the cell. High specific heat and high vaporization have to do with the kinetic energy of water molecules. You have to understand, when hydrogen ions form, energy, heat energy, is being released, decreasing the kinetic energy or movement of water molecules. Think about the ice. Very little kinetic energy movement. Hydrogen bonds have formed. Heat's released into the environment. When heat is absorbed, we have an increase in kinetic energy and hydrogen ions break. So the more the water moves, the more those water molecules are moving around, the more kinetic energy they have. But it takes a lot of energy to break those hydrogen bonds. And so that is water's high specific heat, higher than most substances. It takes 1 calorie of energy to increase 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. That's a lot of energy. And so this plays a role in maintaining moderate climate. This maintains how bodies of water resist temperature changes. Imagine, we're made up of water. We have a lot of water in our cells. If water did not have a high specific heat, that water would evaporate, get a lot of kinetic energy, and cells wouldn't be able to function. So we're able to maintain a decent body temperature. High heat of vaporization has to do with the amount of kinetic energy needed to vaporize or move liquid water to a gas phase. It takes a lot of energy to vaporize. If it took a little bit of energy to vaporize, there would be no liquid water around. For aquatic ecosystems, there'll be no water for us to uptake. So a high heat of vaporization means it's going to take a lot of energy to get those water molecules with enough kinetic energy to vaporize them to steam. So let's think about this for a minute. The high heat of vaporization allows to moderate temperatures. This is what allows tropical air to move north, allows it to condense, make rain, allows for precipitation. So you get the water cycle because of the high heat of vaporization. You also get evaporative cooling. So only the water molecules with the most kinetic energy are going to evaporate, leaving behind cooler temperatures. But remember, we're breaking hydrogen bonds as that heat energy is being absorbed. Lastly, adhesion and cohesion. Adhesion is water molecules being attracted to other surfaces. Cohesion is water molecules being attracted to itself. This allows for surface tension, allows for certain insects to be able to spread their weight like the water strider, to use that surface tension as a means of getting around. Transpiration relies on adhesion and cohesion to bring the water to the surface. Transpiration allows trees to transport water from their roots to the surface and uses surface tension as a means of getting around. Transpiration allows for plants to draw up water against gravity from roots to leaves using adhesion, cohesion, and hydrogen bonding as that water travels up the tree to the leaves to where it will be used in photosynthesis. Properties of water are key to living systems. Properties of water are emergent properties. We don't see these properties with just one molecule of water. However, when we have several molecules of water that are able to hydrogen bond with each other, that's when we get these unique properties of water. This segment ends the properties of water. Now, on to the properties of carbon.